we took Left 4 Dead and we hacked it apart and took the director out of it, and we were using a wand, and we were letting one person sit on the couch while someone else played on the TV. And the person on the couch sitting next to him was dropping health packs and zombies into the map while their friend played on the TV. It was insanely fun. And it's like, yeah, this is the future right here.
Back in the early part of this decade, Valve was dead set on creating the best hardware they possibly could, and Gabe Newell was attempting to create a living room Steam experience that even Grandma and Grandpa could play. In order to achieve this dream, Gabe Newell hired Jeri Ellsworth, an accomplished and well-known inventor and tinkerer of many years to Valve Software, specifically to create a hardware team with the goals of not only trying to create the living room Steam experience, but also acting as some kind of research and development ground in order to be able to create the next experimental hardware. Jeri, over the course of a few years, put together the team that would later create things like the Steam controller, the Steam Link, and most importantly, the Valve Index. But specifically to Jeri, the majority of her interest laid within augmented reality. Here's the long short of it. She was able to get a decent augmented reality system up and running around 2012 to 2013. And a significant amount of hardware experimentation at the time led to some immense discoveries in the different sectors that they were attempting to invent within. The augmented reality system they had developed worked wonderfully. And due to the success of these systems, there were teams at Valve developing software to go alongside this hardware. And somehow, the development teams landed on Left 4 Dead. There is a significant amount more to this story than just this Left 4 Dead game that was canceled. And the whole report on Valve's history with augmented reality and this hour-and-a-half long interview I did with Jeri Ellsworth is coming later this week. But for now, there was a Left 4 Dead game, and it worked like this. It was an asymmetrical multiplayer experience where the players could decide if it was competitive or cooperative, not through a menu, but through emergent gameplay. You had the standard Left 4 Dead experience for 4 players on PCs, trying to get through a normal campaign. The major difference is that the AI director, the systems in place that procedurally generate the enemies and items that you encounter, was ripped out and replaced by another player using augmented reality. The person in augmented reality would be looking at a table. This table had sensors that would allow the glasses to project an image onto its surface. And the image it projected was a 3-dimensional top-down view of the game world being played by the 4 other players. And it was the goal of the AR director to either kill these survivors as quickly as possible or help them out in their journey. Obviously, the competitive side of things would be far more fun. What if this AR director had a limited inventory of special infected, hordes of zombies to attack, and items to divvy out? What if this AR director had more power, such as dynamic events within the maps themselves? They were developing this game in the very early days of another Left 4 Dead project that we have not seen, so there was a lot of potential here. Unfortunately, it's Valve, and anything cool that was done internally at Valve between the years of 2011 and 2015 never saw the light of day. And there is a lot that could be said as to why this experience never saw a release, as well as Valve's own augmented reality systems, and we will be covering that in fine detail very soon. But to sum up, Michael Abrash was attempting to con Valve out of their VR hardware in order to get an executive position at Facebook, and so everybody that was not working on VR hardware was fired, including Jeri Ellsworth. All of the work being done on augmented reality died right there. That said, Jeri has not stopped working, and during her firing, she asked Valve if she could take her research with her, and they granted it. Obviously, they didn't allow her to take the Left 4 Dead IP, but she had the hardware, and she's been working on refining it ever since. And now we have TiltFive, her own augmented reality system that did gangbusters on Kickstarter, and now she has ideas for what to do with it further. The idea of taking Valve's existing IPs and changing them to suit a better hardware standard is essentially how Valve works. And the idea of removing the AI director and replacing it with an entirely other player seems amazing, especially adding in the compelling new hardware, where you are looking at it like you are God, trying to either kill or help all of the other survivors. If this idea was further developed, I foresee many different ideas that they could push forward. Dynamically changing maps, the ability to pull down buildings as the AI director, being able to change the environment in order to be able to help or hinder the survivors. The AI director was one of the largest selling points of Left 4 Dead back in 2008. However, pulling it out and replacing it with a player in a very compelling setting could likely be the feature to truly push out a Left 4 Dead 3. But I need to stress this. Left 4 Dead 3, as we know it, had nothing to do with this project. There was no real prototyping name that I'm aware of, but we're calling it Left 4 Dead AR. L4D AR. It was canceled, but seeing how Jeri is pushing TiltFive and being incredibly successful with it, and according to all accounts of people who have tried it, this is the real deal. And a side note, this thing can run on Intel integrated graphics on a laptop. That's how she demos this at conventions. So you do not have the prohibitively expensive hardware costs of virtual reality. This could happen. If there's enough outcry by the community in order to see a Left 4 Dead experience on Jeri's TiltFive, Gabe Newell would do something about it, because he is interested in this. He's impressed with the work she's done, and I mean, come on, if the community wants something, Valve may deliver.
Hey Jeri, this is Gabe. Thanks for the demo you guys gave. As I said, I was super impressed with what you've built. It's way more compelling than I thought it was going to be. I've also reached out to some developers already saying that they should talk to you guys about partnering with content. I really can't wait to see what they and other developers are able to do with the system you built. Thanks again.
It's going to happen on some game. I'll guarantee you, because I'm going to make damn sure of it. And once we get enough traction and we can get the attention of the big boys, like, we'll make that happen. It goes like this. It is like so fun. You're sitting with your friend that's playing on the TV. First thing you do is you drop 1,000 zombies in on them and like kill them right away. And they punch you in the arm, like, stop that. And you're like, ha ha ha, that's really fun, you know? And then you start dropping zombies in, and you get them to 1 health bar, and then you start dropping health packs in. And then that's when everything gets like super heightened, because they're running from zombies. They got 1 health bar, you're dropping them, they're running right past them. You're like, dude, I'm dropping them, come on. And they die anyway, or whatever, or they get it. And it's like, you haven't experienced a like game until you like have that kind of cooperative experience.
If you want to be able to follow up on all of the topics I cover on this channel in real time, check out my Twitter page linked down in the description below. It's at Valve News Network. Okay, if you want to ask me any questions, or if you're confused about anything, my DMs on that Twitter are always open, and my email is tylernewsnetwork@gmail.com. If you want to support these videos, check them out early, get your name in the credits. My Patreon page is down in the description below, and I'd really appreciate it if you could help me out. I'm Tyler McVicker. This is Valve News Network. Have a good day. Adios. Oh, and before I end, there was another canceled Left 4 Dead game for Augmented Reality.
They had the Left 4 Dead zombies just kind of with really shitty AI, just like kind of following you around, and they only had 3 speeds, like slow, medium, and fast, and you could outrun them even at the fast speed. And we put a flag in the middle. It was capture the flag. The longer you held the flag, the more points you got. But as soon as you grabbed the flag, the zombies would run at you at twice the speed, so you wouldn't survive too long. And But you could have up to 6 players like playing simultaneously. Then we added bullets to it, and so you could ricochet the bullets off the walls, and that was kind of fun. You would kind of like hole up in a corner with your buddies across the table, and these alliances would form. Like, hey, let's go down to the southern end of the game board and just kind of hang out there. And it was a much bigger map than the actual table, so it scrolled. And you just sit down and you'd be kind of shooting out at different angles, keeping people from like trying to like take over your corner. And then we added another feature. We, as in Rick Johnson, did all of this. You could hold the trigger on the wand and you could grow the bullets. They were bigger, and each time they hit the wall, they would shrink one size until they disappeared. And that was super fun. It would bounce, and you could have these like huge jumbo bullets like going down the maze and just like annihilate like 10 people at once, or 4 people at once. And then people found that you could walk up to the wall and you could take one of these super bullets and stick it in the wall, and there was a bug. And then you could walk inside of it. Now you had a little protective shield. And the only way that you could destroy that shield is to like Pied Piper zombies and like drag the zombies over and run them into the shield. And so people would Pied Piper like 20 zombies and bring them down this corner where someone's hole up inside one of their jumbo bullets, and then just let the zombies free in there. It was just so fun because you just sit around and just like all this emerging gameplay would just be so fun.
This is why I hate Valve.